Welcome into That's a Tap with CT and DJ. We're here to preview the big pay-per-view Manchester UFC 304. DJ, I'm excited for this one. How are you doing?
Feeling great, man. Super excited. One more pay per view. Every time there's a pay per view, we know it's going to be stacked cards, good fights. They're on the road. They're in the UK. One stop before Perth next month. Um, yeah, man. And it's a very very good card. Some really good fights. Looking forward to it.
Overall, there's been a bit of controversy building up to this one. We're just talking before recording, but the Manel Cape, um,
Yeah,
fight is now put on the early prelims as well. Have you watched the press conference and what did you think?
man. Yes, I did. I mean, look, we know Manel Cape. We got introduced to sort of his personality when he was in Sydney last time, when he was going at everyone on stage and off stage with Kai Kara France and Israel Adesanya. So he's a fiery character, and it was expected, I guess, because he was in a building with Makayev, and I think Makayev is also very similar. And something must have gone off. And I just saw the footage of the scuffle. I know the teams got involved, so I think the UFC probably is looking into it. Look, I'm glad the fight didn't get scrapped because it is a fight that I'm looking forward to. It is a good fight, a lot of implications in terms of rankings. Um, and yeah, man, and there's some other sort of controversy around it as well, like in terms of the card. When I say controversy, I wouldn't call this bad blood, but there seems to be tension between Leon Edwards and Bilal Muhammad. I wasn't expecting it to be this extreme, especially from Bilal Muhammad's side. I get it; he's a bit pissed off that he had to sort of stay this long for this opportunity, and Leon wasn't really giving it to him. And his argument was, "Hey, I stepped up when you didn't have an opponent, sort of on short notice. So like I would have expected you to return that favor with the title shot, but you weren't sort of doing that, and I'm pissed with that. But sort of Belal going at Leon's team and everything. I just wasn't expecting that. I think it was a bit out of character for Belal Muhammad as well. And then again, Leon Edwards is always calm and composed and sort of like a very reserved person outside of that octagon. So, same thing here. But yeah, that tension was something that I wasn't expecting. So that obviously adds to the excitement of the fight. Uh, yeah, man. And then obviously there's a high level core main event in the heavyweight division. And also like there is that exciting fight with Paddy Pimblett and King Green. I wanted to make sure I got that right because his name's officially changed now. It's King Green.
It is, yeah. That's an exciting one. I'm looking forward to that. But of course, we'll start with the main event, right? Leon Edwards, you mentioned Bilal Muhammad, and the tension that we saw with the
Yeah,
face off. Any
yeah.
comments you've got from seeing those two face off?
Man, I'll give it to Belal Muhammad. He didn't flinch, right? When Leon Edwards made a move, he didn't flinch, which is kudos to him. It kind of you know made it look cool that whole sequence. But yeah, like even him putting his hand to his head and saying headshot and all that back to Leon. Yeah, it was the press conference it was good. It wasn't like out of it wasn't all chaotic or anything. It was okay. It was good. It wasn't too much drama either. I actually expected a lot more back and forth between Paddy Pimblett and King Green, which wasn't the case. Like for the most part, they were cordial. And But anyway, either way, we know they're going to get into that cage and they're going to fight. Especially King Green, man. His fighting style, he fights one way. So yeah, it's exciting. So yeah, let's
Yeah,
see, let's
and
see. I mean, I'm more amped up now after the press conference.
yeah, same. And with Dana upping the bonus to 100K, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I reckon it should be 100. I think it should be inflation. Everything's hit, man. Like the prices need to go up. You know what I mean? The dollar figures need to go up. So I feel like it should be 100 anyway. But I'm also getting a bit tired with like this every press conference. Now it's sort of like expected. for a fighter to like ask for something like, oh yeah, we want this, or so it seems like a theme. I think other than UFC 301, every other card in the press conference, someone's like asked for it to be raised, and Dana White's obviously obliged, but pretty sure he'll put some stipulations very soon saying, hey, there's some words that you can't utter up there, race and bonus.
Yeah, most definitely. And the main event, Leon and Muhammad, who's going to win, and what do you see as the keys to this matchup?
Man, good question. Like, I think obviously we got our predictions ready to go. So I think after a while, we've got a line prediction. But before we go to the quick predictions, I'll sort of look at this fight as a ideally, you would say it's a striker versus grappler matchup, the traditional striker versus grappler. But they both showcased the ability, especially Leon Edwards. Man, he's one of those well-rounded fighters, and every time we've seen a Leon Edwards fight, or we've previewed one, I've always said this, that he is one of those well-rounded champions, like for example, the likes of Alexander Volkanovski, um, Robert Whitaker. Uh, so he is similar to that in terms of being able to mix it up, being able to good fight IQ, very crisp technique. He's technically very sound. Even if you go watch that Colby Covington fight, sort of even his setups, everything is technical, everything is measured. You know what I mean? So I think that's one of Leon Edwards' biggest strengths. Obviously, he's got more of a spotlight since that head kick knockout. But since then, we see what he's done. He's gone up against Kamaru Usman again, and I believe it was a clear win for Leon Edwards, and I think a lot of people do as well. And then he beat the other, top tough guy, or considered the tough guy in that division in Colby Covington as well, in a pretty decisive fashion. Other than the last, I don't know, couple of minutes where he obviously was controlled on the ground, and the fact that he was able to take down Kamaru Usman, Colby Covington, to be able to do that to those high level wrestlers, and I think Belal Edwards is in the same caliber in terms of his wrestling. He's extremely good, and we know that he's been working with the Dagestani team for his recent camps, which is only going to make him better. And obviously, we're seeing a new facet of Belal Edwards, Belal Muhammad's game as well, right? You see the fight against Sean Brady. He knocked him out. There was for the longest time the criticism for Belal Muhammad was that he's constantly, his wins are constantly through decision, which there is no it is not wrong to do that. The ultimate goal is to go in there and win. The ability to take the fight to the distance and be victorious. In all his fights, he's been clearly victorious. It hasn't been a controversial split decision or anything. So speaks to his skill set and ability as well. We saw him knock out Sean Brady, and then we also saw him take up a short notice fight, a relatively short notice fight with the dangerous Gilbert Burns, right? And that fight actually took place for the majority of the time on the feet as well. And we saw Belal Muhammad perform, and not only was a short notice fight, it was coming off after Ramadan as well. So in terms of preparation, we know how much challenges he would have had to be ready for that fight, and for him to perform the way he did, I know there is that question mark of, okay, look, Gilbert did injure himself. I think it was his arm. Um, that how much did that impact? But nonetheless, right, this guy came in to fight Gilbert Burns, who was in camp, to stamp his place as the number one contender. And I actually personally rate that performance really high for Belal Muhammad. Outside of that fight, if you would have asked me, it would have been a quick prediction for me. Oh yeah, look, I think easily it's going to be Leon Edwards. But this makes it exciting because we saw how he has upgraded his game. But then again, on the other side, you got Leon Edwards, man. Like he's not only is constantly evolving and getting better, man. His confidence is growing. He beat the then number one pound for pound fighter first with that flashy knockout, and then goes back and cements that victory by taking that fight to a decision, but doing so in a clear and a clear, like, doubtless fashion. So which is pretty good. That's personally my take. So I feel like Leon's gonna be very measured. I don't think he ever fights emotional. I think he's going to be measured. We will see his fight IQ. I don't think Belal Muhammad will try and engage on the feet for as long as he thinks he will. He obviously he's fought Gilbert Burns. He did fight Wonder Boy as well, but I feel like Leon Edwards is a very different animal to Wonder Boy. So I think he will find it. He will at least find it difficult to sort of even land his own shots. And you'll see sort of Belal Muhammad trying to take the fight to the ground, where obviously he is extremely strong there, and it comes down to sort of takedown defense for Leon Edwards, which is also extremely high. It makes for a good matchup, right? Yeah, that's what I think. What do you think?
Yeah, you definitely spelled it out. I think this is a really tight matchup for me, but I do think that Leon Edwards will, like you said, will be really calm. I don't think he's been through the fire now, um, and he seems comfortable, especially fighting, there. So I do think, yeah, he'll have the crowd. There will be a bit more pressure, I feel.
Yeah,
He has been the underdog in a lot of these big matchups, but I think, yeah, we're going to give our predictions. We'll save it for when we get to
yeah,
the very end. But yeah, I
yeah,
think Bilal Muhammad absolutely has a chance
absolutely,
to
100%.
yeah yeah to win this one.
Yeah. And then we got the core main man. Like that's another exciting matchup, high level. They've already fought once. Funny thing is, even the main event, they've fought once. Actually, we didn't touch on that. So the main event is a rematch. We had the first one. It obviously ended with that nasty eye poke of Belal Mohammed. It was gruesome scenes because you see blood coming out of his eye, which is never fun. We know how it is when you get poked in the eye, not just fighting, but in anything. And it's just one of those dangerous injuries. And, but we did see one round of that fight. Again, another short notice fight because Belal Mohammed stepped up to save the card because I think Hamza Chimaev had to pull out because of injury or illness. Sorry, he was ill at the time. But that first round, man, like I thought Leon Edwards was clearly winning that. That was a dominating first round for Leon Edwards. He came out aggressive. He came out and sort of laid it on him. And I agree with Leon when he says like he was en route, I think, to finishing that fight in the next couple of rounds. And obviously the eye poke happens, which is very unfortunate. Um, but here's the thing, though: if either of these fighters, not just Leon Edwards, but more so for Leon Edwards, because he's set to lose more than anything else because he's a champion, is that if they go in expecting the same fighters this time as in each other, I think that's going to be bad news for them because I feel like they're both upgraded. They should be looking at this as a fresh matchup. Obviously, look at recent fights for them, and then sort of like uh, lean on the knowledge they gain from that to go into this fight. Because I can guarantee you, it's not going to be the same. Especially now, Edwards, obviously it's a completely different animal with the confidence that he's riding with, and is constant evolution of the game. And we got Bilal Muhammad, who's you know like we say, we can clearly see sort of his upgrades, this change in sort of aggression, and the you know his work with the Dagestani team is also quite visible in terms of his insane pressure, and sort of that killer instinct that we saw in that Sean Brady fight. So man, two different animals. So yeah, but we did touch on that. We started with the co-main, and then I had to go back to this. But yeah, man, co-main is as good as the main event. What did you think of the co-main? We got Tom Aspinall taking on Curtis Blades.
Oh, this might be my favorite, to be honest. Just because, yeah, I think we've seen, like you said, the Leon Bilal before, but yeah, Aspinall Blades. I think Aspinall's been in the news a lot, talking his mouth with John Jones, waiting for his opportunities. Well, yeah, the show hits the UK, right? Tom Aspinall now, can make another statement. He can use this opportunity to then call, do a big call out if he gets this win. 14 wins and 3 losses, right? Blades 18 wins, 4 losses, one no count.
Yeah.
Um, how do you see this one going, right? I don't see it going the distance.
Nah, nah, it's not going the distance, man. Like I think Tom Aspinall is an extremely high level heavyweight, without a doubt, man. I mean, you look at his work in that octagon. I think his one loss was to Curtis Blades, but that was due to doctor stoppage, or injury. But outside of that, man, he's just gone and demolished the opposition. I mean, I personally thought that fight with Sergey Pavlovich would be his toughest test, and he proved me wrong because he went in there and he handled business. He did take one shot from Sergey, but didn't seem to phase him. He came back strong and finished that fight. I think none of his fights have gone out the first round. So I do believe he is the best heavyweight at the moment. Um, Obviously, outside of John Jones, you can never. I am on I'm on the same bandwagon as Dana White on this. I do feel John Jones is one of the best. So until he's there, he's competing. You can't really, unless they fight, which is why I want to see that fight. But we'll get to that later. Um, is that I do feel he's the best among the current crop, um, and it is a tough matchup because Curtis Blades is really good. Again, having only seen a little bit of the fight, not even a round. We didn't even see a round. I think last time I thought Curtis Blades was having a lot of success on the feet. That's what I thought. That was what I thought. But again, since then, Aspinall's been able to go back to the drawing board, come back from that injury, recover, and he's looking leaner and meaner. Obviously, the way he looks has changed. His training mentality, his training style, everything's changed, and that was evident in the Tabura and Pavlovich fights. So yeah, look, we got him now taking on the Curtis Blades, and Curtis Blades is good. I just do think that his style hasn't changed much since their last fight. It's the same style. He's really good on his feet too, but then he tries to take the fight to the ground, which is where he's extremely good at, and obviously try and find some success there. But against some heavy hitters, we've seen him, not have that much of a success. So, example, Ngannou, Derek Lewis, right? So, and Tom Aspinall is not only a heavy puncher, but again, brilliant IQ, fastest heavyweight. Even Curtis Blades himself admitted it today, and that just makes it all the more complex for Blades to deal with. So we'll just have to wait and see. Will it continue with where that left off? And this applies to the main event as well. Does this continue where the first fight left off, or are we going to see a completely different fight? My opinion, both fights are going to be completely different. So yeah, that's my take on the core main event.
Yep. Yeah. Obviously, yeah. Long ways back, it feels forever when they first tried to get this fight going, and then Tom suffered that horrific injury. But glad that we're finally getting to see it. But yeah, Blade's clear underdog for me. Aspinall, you know, has shown that he can, do it on the ground, stand up. He's just a savage, I think, and Blades. It'll require his best effort. I think should he
Mm,
get the upset, right? He's really gonna have to fight the perfect, fight. I think to get this, right?
yeah,
And obviously we'll talk about in our predictions, but I do think this one, yeah, won't go the distance. Um, and I think, look, in heavyweights, you never know. You could always, surprise and get that upset. But Blades, yeah, this will be his biggest win. Would you agree? Like, if he was to get this win,
if
his biggest win of his career.
undoubtedly, man, like not only that, it's for the interim championship, and we know there's a bit of an asterisk next to this championship because usually how it works is you're an interim champ, you're technically the champ because the champ's out of action, and when the champ comes back, you're fighting the champ. But here, John Jones is attached, and UFC wants to do that legacy fight because they understand that if they lose this opportunity, they can't do that again. So they want Stipe, they want Jones, they want them to fight. They want that historic event to happen. So they can't hold on, but they also can't ice Tom Aspinall, who's in a hot like he's currently like he's at his peak, and to keep him aside is detrimental, right? So they are faced with the issue of having to keeping active, to keep him active, right? And so we got the Blades rematch happening now as a form of doing that. The risk they run is obviously if Tom Aspinall loses, but then again, he's still young. He obviously can, make his way back up to the top, especially in the heavyweight division. You're one fight away if you're in that sort of top five area. Um, and yeah, to answer your question, if Blades were to win, not only has he beaten one of the biggest prospects in the heavyweight division in a very, very long time, but also secured himself the interim championship. And there's two things that could happen because from what we understand, John Jones and Stipe are fighting in November at Madison Square Garden. Either if Jones were to win or Stipe were to win, the general idea, the general or word, the general word is that they're both going to retire, right? But then again, Jones has been teasing, saying, "Oh, I want Alex Pereira," and all these kind of things. But then he wants Alex Pereira to fight Aspinall. The the thing is, if Jones stays and if he wins, the winner will get Jones. If not, what they're gonna do is they're gonna just elevate this or promote the interim championship to the championship. So you are guaranteed champion, or you get to fight for the championship belt against one of the goats. Right? It's either way high stakes for the winner. And I think they understand it. I mean, if you look at today's press conference today, Tom Aspinall looked like a man on a mission. Like, I mean, he seemed focused, seemed ready. I'm excited, man.
Yep. Yeah, I can't wait for this one. Like I said, I think this is my favorite. But yeah, let's save our predictions. Moving on to the third one, Bobby Green, Paddy Pimblett, some
Yep,
bad blood. You talked
yep.
about the press conference. How do you see the keys to that matchup?
Man, look, to be honest, this fight, I'm just going to grab the popcorn, sit back and watch. Because either way, I feel like it's going to be fireworks. The crowd's going to be behind Paddy. He's a very polarizing figure. We know sort of how in terms of his reception in other countries. Obviously, he's extremely loved in the UK. And we got King Green, another fan favorite. You know, a very obvious fighting style. He just walks forward. He's a fighter's fighter. He literally fights. That's what he believes in terms of, just bringing the heat, and that's what he always does. And man, they're going to collide, right? I do feel Paddy will try and take him down. That's probably how it's going to go. Because King Green, his striking is extremely crisp. His boxing is very nice. If you look at it, man, it's really nice. Even the one with Fiziv, uh, Jalen Turner, all of that, man, like it's just very crisp. It's very good. I know he keeps his chin up in the air and he does all those shoulder rolls, but he knows what he's doing. And his game, he's a game opponent, a very tough opponent for anyone. And look, I know there's been a lot of criticism about Paddy not facing proper opposition. I mean, he did fight Tony Ferguson, so but yeah. Look, I reckon this is definitely an upgrade in competition. They both beat Tony Ferguson. Damn, I never thought I'd ever be saying that, man. Like, but yeah. So they both beat Tony Ferguson, and I guess the winner breaks into the top 10.
Yep, and I might have to apologise. I might have called him Bobby Green before. I'm still getting used to the
King
King,
Green.
the name change. So King Green, shout out. Um, nice change up. And yeah, I agree. I think Paddy will try to go to the mat, but Green is a good striker. So looking forward to that, seeing
Yeah.
if he can catch him. But yeah, I think this is going to be a really even matchup.
Yep, agree. And the odds are just the same, man. I'm looking at the odds, and it's 187 to 194 for that fight, so it's very even.
Yep, love it. So yeah, that's exciting, that one. Um, and then we have Christian Leroy Duncan against Gregory Rodriguez RoboCop
Yep. Yeah,
two. Like, how do you feel about this being on the main?
man. I feel like look, it's a good fight. Gregory Rodriguez, if you look at his fights, man, they're all exciting finishes. He's the guy who had his like forehead split open and he was still walking forward, and he finished the guy. So he comes to fight. He's got that killer instinct. Christian Duncan is also pretty exciting. So it's an exciting matchup. I can see why that is in the main event because sorry, the main card, because it will get the crowd going. That fight is a guaranteed banger for the crowd. So maybe that's how they place it there. I was a bit surprised. I would have thought maybe Makayev could have been there. Makayev actually been placed in the early prelims, which is extremely surprising, man, because he's from the UK, and yeah, like at least feature prelim. I would have thought, but not seems not the case. Maybe they it didn't really sit well with the both. The UFC didn't really take it kindly to that scuffle, and maybe that was the reason, but we don't know. Um, yeah, look, I don't know. It is an exciting matchup. Uh, it could go either way.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I think their records, yeah, very even, and I do
Yeah,
think that yeah, whoever gets this will obviously move up to, I think, in the rankings and their uh, their momentum, because this is
yeah,
a big stage. Like I said, for that to be on the main card, I think
yeah.
that's going to get them a lot of attention. Uh, Arnold Allen, Giga Bataze, Jikadze,
Chikadze.
Giga Jikadze, Arnold Allen. This is a really another tight matchup for this one. Allen 19 wins, 3 losses.
Hmm.
Giga 15 wins, 3 losses too. How do you see that playing out?
Man, it's a I love the fight. For the longest of time, before Giga ran into Calvin Cater, and before that beatdown, I was expecting Giga to be in the title picture, sort of to explain. Let me compare him to another Georgian, um, uh, Ilya. So I expected him to be where Ilya is today. Maybe not winning the title, but sort of in that picture, in that top five. Obviously, that fight with Kaida derailed things, um, and then he came back. He's fought Alex Asaris since then, and he obviously got that win. And that was in Korea, that UFC event that happened. So it's been a year since he fought. Um, and then we've got Arnold Allen on the other end, who's been extremely active, and he's got he's coming off two losses, but two top level fighters. One to Movsar Evloev, who's considered technically the next number one guy in the line after Holloway and Volkanovski, because he's undefeated at the moment, and he's obviously fighting Aljamain at 145, which is another exciting matchup. So yeah, look, uh, and then the other loss was to Max Holloway, man. Like, so it's just he went up against two tough opponents. He's extremely good as well. He was undefeated going into that Max Holloway fight. But that again, when you start testing yourself against the top fighters, they you do tend to lose fights, which is okay. It's just that it tends to happen. Um, while he is coming off of a loss, I feel like he's still again, I'm going based off what I saw in the Alex Asaris fight between Alex Asaris and Giga Chikadze. Is that while it was a win, it wasn't like I didn't feel like it was the old Giga who was in there. I feel like that Cater fight maybe took something out of him. Maybe it was just his feeling out process. He was feeling a bit rusty coming off after that because he did take a layoff after that. And he's taken another sort of layoff as well. So he's coming back. I know the Emmett fight got cancelled because he got injured. Uh, Kikadze that is. And then, no, so he's unfortunately had to have another layoff. And he's coming back and he's fighting Arnold Allen, which in his own backyard. So it's a tough match, a tough ask for Giga, but at the same time, again, Arnold Allen is probably desperate to prove himself as well. He's coming off two losses, and he probably can't afford to lose another one, and he'd want to try and get the victory. So two guys having a lot to prove in that 145-pound division, which is obviously got a lot of exciting talent in there, at the tops, and they want to break into that and get into title contention, title conversation. So good fight um, for both guys. Again, a good main card opener as well.
Yes, great point, DJ. Yeah, two guys that don't take a back step, and I expect that to be a potential bonus candidate as well. Look forward to that one. Yeah, great opener for the main card, and then the
Yeah.
prelims. What stands out to you from the prelims? What are you looking forward to?
Man, the Nathaniel Wood Pineda fight, which is the feature prelim, is an extremely good fight as well. Like again, the fighting style is extremely fan friendly, which means that you'll see a lot of action. Um, Molly McCann's fighting, and especially in the UK, Molly McCann fighting is a it's more like a festival, so that'll be an exciting fight. I am extremely excited for the Makayo versus Manel Cade fight, man, especially after that scuffle. I feel like there's going to be some real bad blood now. So I'm looking forward to that. Manel Cape's a really good striker. Mackay was an extremely good wrestler. Again, let's see how that goes. So yeah, those are some of the fights that I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, likewise. Nathaniel Wood, the feature prelim. Looking forward to that. 19 wins, 6 losses, and like you
Yep,
said, Meatball Molly too needs to, regather that
yep,
momentum. I think
yep.
we'll see how that goes, and then of course, like you said, I think everyone will be watching the early prelims because of the Kate Makayev
Yeah,
matchup too. So
yep.
without without further ado, let's pull up our predictions
Let's go.
and we'll go you first.
Done.
Without
Let's get
further
it.
ado,
Let's get
here
it.
we go.
Right. Yeah, I've got Edwards. I mean, obviously, I've laid it out sort of why or how I feel the fight goes. I just feel like, yeah, Edwards' fight IQ is confidence that he is riding on at the moment, and sort of his home ground advantage, him being the champion, and he's still, you can see in his training that he's very serious about defending these titles and wanting to fight the best. So I do believe in that. So I think again, it's a very close fight could go either way. I feel like we say this for every fight, or I say this for every fight, but I'm going with Edwards on this one. I'm actually going to go decision. It'll be a decision. Um, and then I've got Tom Aspinall. Again, I'm going to go KO. I want to go KO for this one. And then I've got Bobby Green. I know you you would think sort of Paddy being the younger fighter, and he's extremely good too, man. I just feel like I think Bobby Green's like don't care attitude's gonna do him well in this one. And I don't think the 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 strikes coming his way from Paddy is going to rock him too much, and he's going to take confidence in that. And he's going to walk forward. He just needs to watch out for the grappling, and if he's able to sort of stuff those takedowns, and sort of keep the fight standing, then he definitely is. Again, that's sort of how I see it going. I feel like he's going to use his footwork, his defensive boxing, and he's going to sort of land some shots. I'm not gonna. I can't tell sort of how. I feel like it's gonna be a knockout. It could be a knockout, or it could be a TKO, or if Paddy wins, it'll be a submission. So, but I'm going
Wow.
with Bobby Green, King Green. Arnold Allen, even though he's coming off 2 losses, he's still been active, and I feel like the losses were against some tough competition, high level competition, and the level of competition Arnold Allen's fought is very different to what Gigas uh, fought. They're both strikers. Giga's a kickboxer, extremely good kicks. But I think Arnold Allen knows that. Sort of Arnold Allen's going to mix it up, and I feel like he'll get the job done. And then the final matchup, I'm going to go with Gregory Rodriguez,
Yep, RoboCop.
RoboCop.
Nice. Let's see if how different we are as I pull up my predictions
Let's
now.
go.
Of course, we agree on a lot of Leon Edwards, the hometown kid, will get it
Yeah,
done. Tom Aspinall has been waiting for this opportunity. He'll take it. I think he'll get the finish. I'm going to say second round.
yeah,
Second round. Let the crowd fire up a little bit before he finishes the job. King Green, also agree with you. I think Paddy, I used to be a huge Paddy fan, but I think he just hasn't been taking it seriously for me.
yep, yeah,
DJ King Green leaves it all out there. Like
yeah,
he walks in there like you know with no consequences. You
yeah,
know, and I think he'll leave it all out there and get the win. He'll get stoppage as
Yep.
well. And then Giga, I like Giga. I like his speed, uh, and I think he'll. I think he's the underdog, so he'll probably get the upset. And then we agree with Robo. No, I didn't go Robo.
No, you didn't go Robo. Yeah.
Um, I went with the other
Christian
guy,
Leroy.
Christian Leroy. Yep. Um,
Yep.
I do think his record, his form, I think
Yeah.
is the main reason I went with him,
Yeah.
and I think yeah he's gonna put on a show. I think he might get
Yeah.
a bonus.
Yeah.
So
I mean, that's why I feel like that's why that fight's put there because of the excitement they bring. I know obviously we got the order jumbled up. Giga and Arnold open the card main card, but yeah, they put it in there for that excitement, leading up to the Bobby Green and Paddy fight, which then the crowd starts and they just won't stop. Yeah, man. Let me quickly ask you this. So obviously, the other big fight that everyone's talking about, although they're not in the main card, is the Mackay and Cape fight. Who are you going with that one? Who are you picking?
ooh. See, that one I'm gonna go with Cape. I'm
Oh,
gonna go
okay.
with I'm gonna go with Cape on that one. Um,
Interesting. Yeah.
yeah, he is a look. He doesn't duck the smoke. Like
Yeah.
he'll talk smack like he did in Australia, and I think I think he's gonna pull out the win. I think he'll get a decision. How do you see
Yeah.
it?
But I'm actually going the other way. I feel like Mackay will get it done. It'll be predominantly on the ground, I feel. And I think, yeah, Mackay will get it done.
Nice, nice. So
Yeah.
we're a little bit,
We're split
we
on
we're
that one.
split. We're split with that one.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we'll give our recap to the big main card, the event, the pay-per-view event, and then we'll give it our grade early next week. But really
Yeah.
excited for this one. Really looking forward to it, actually. Really good fights on this one. And if there's one that you're waiting for the most, what is it?
The fight that I'm excited for the most will be the co-main event: Tom Aspinall versus Curtis Blades. I mean, this will answer sort of how good Tom Aspinall is because Curtis Blades is one of those long-standing names in that division who's fought literally everyone. He's fought in everyone in the heavyweight division, and we got him going against Tom. If he's able to get the job done, and I feel like he's going to get it done in spectacular fashion, man, there's no doubt. Like, he is the next big thing, and I feel like this win is going to prompt John Jones to say, you know what, I can't leave like this. I gotta get this guy. You know what I mean? He's gonna have that in his mind. I feel like that's the performance it's going to be, and yeah, let's see. I might have to eat my words, but I'm happy to do that. But I just feel that's how it's going to be.
Yeah, I agree. I think yeah, he's bordering on superstardom. I think
Yeah,
he's a UFC star. Would you
one
agree? But I think a
hundred
big win
percent.
in front of his home crowd, like you
Yeah,
said, could put him in that conversation to maybe fight Jones and become a
yeah,
superstar.
absolutely, 100%. I think he's a huge star among the European community, especially the Brits. I think this win, if he's able to win in spectacular fashion, the win against Pavlovich did him a world of wonders. And if he's able to replicate that with Blades, yeah, this kind of pushes him to the same stratosphere Alex Pereira is in. And who knows, they might collide.
Yes, please. Yes,
I do
please.
think, I do think that's a bad matchup for Alex Pereira, but yeah, look, that is a possibility though.
It is. Yeah. Look, we always get excited for the heavyweights, but yeah, we've really got some big names to for the future. Like these
Yeah,
are the big names. But yeah, Blades is going to give a good challenge. I like him. I like him, but I just think Aspinall is just dominant from ground and up everywhere.
yep,
He doesn't really have any flaws in his game that we've seen, and I think he'd be the
100%.
perfect matchup against Jones.
I'm excited if that ever happens, man. That's the dream matchup. Now is Jones versus Aspinall. Man, it'll
Yep.
be like wrestling. Can you imagine? Like Jones versus Aspinall, and then they make an announcement. The winner will be fighting someone who's coming back for just one fight. Ngannou comes back. Oh, it'll be
Oh,
scenes.
yeah. So yeah, let's talk about it early next week. Look forward to it, everyone. Thanks for listening. Drop a like and on the video if you enjoyed our preview, and leave a comment to let us know what you're looking forward to. And this is our preview for UFC 304, and we'll see you for the recap. Peace, everyone.
Peace
Peace,
out.
DJ.